Good morning. Welcome. All right. So we're going to get started. Bonjour. Hello. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody online. Welcome to the Shift Space. So I'll introduce myself. My name is Sarah Baptist Brown. I'm the manager for the Institute for Cooperative Education at Concordia, but I'm here today because I'm also a steering committee member of Shift. I like to say I've been part of Shift since year zero. It's my little thing I like to say, but it feels true. And it feels like this space has been a big part of that work and that dream since that time. So I'm really happy to be here. I see smiles here in the room. I'm hoping there's smiles at home for those who are online. So welcome. I'm going to just start by, taking a moment. We're talking about space here at Concordia. I want to take a moment to just recognize that Concordia and the Shift Center are on unceded Indigenous lands. The Office of Community Engagement and the Shift Center for Social Transformation understand this and take this very seriously, not in just the activities and the partners that they work with, but in all the ways of doing. And so we are really happy that we have one of our partners with us online to share a few words. So I'd like to introduce Gahi Rison Fran Beauvais to share a few words with us.
Sego se waguego, gahirsumi waxanoda, waganyantumi wagutaroda, watquanuarado se waguego. I just wanted to say that my name is Gahirisu. I'm from Gahnawage. I am from the Turtle Clan, and I am here to welcome everybody to the new space, the opening of the new space, and the collaboration between the two partnerships. And I'm just very happy to see that these two will be working in the same building. And since they service a lot of the same people, that it makes sense to have them working together. I've been very fortunate to work with both this past spring or summer, early spring, late spring, to work on a selfies project between the two, and working in collaboration with a lot of First Nations communities. One of the things that we have been trying to do with the centers as well as Concordia is to really work in partnership with communities, Indigenous communities, First Nations, Métis, Inuit communities, because we know that, we are a big growing population now, and we are moving more towards urban centers, and we have a lot of people living within the city. And one of the really spectacular things that have been happening is we have more and more Indigenous students who are involved in higher education. And for us, that is something that is so special, I guess we could say, because there was a time when our people, we know our histories and what a sad history we come from. And there was even a time when if an Indigenous person, First Nations, Métis, or Inuit person wanted to take higher education, that you would have to give up your rights as a First Nations person in order to do that. And today, that is no longer something that we have to do, and we can still be who we are and become educated, but never forget who we are, and continue to, to make those paths and continue to come back into our communities and work to better our communities and work to help our people to strive to become successful and to see that education is a way and an opportunity to open new doors. So these center, with that, you know, having the shift center is something that would be very welcoming in a place where our people will feel welcome, as well as the Office of the Community Engagement. So with that, I just want to say welcome, and you know, let's give them both the acknowledgement that they deserve, and Nyawagoa Sewaguego for listening to my words. So.
Thank you very much. So I would like to introduce our President and Vice Chancellor, Graham Carr, to come and say a few words now.
Well, thank you. Merci, Sarah. Fran, thank you so much for joining us and opening this this virtually. And I really to take to heart what you said about the importance of collaboration, of learning from each other, of trying to make the university and higher education generally a more welcoming space for all of the communities that are around us here in Montreal. Alors, bienvenue tout le monde. C'est vraiment un plaisir de vous accueillir dans cette formidable nouvelle espace ce matin. I remember when the gift announcement took place about 3 or 4 years ago. It was just 25 meters from here in the DeSev Auditorium. And who would have known that Tim Hortons could become a thriving, different community environment as it is right now with the transformation. And what a great job the facilities and the shift team have done in designing this incredible space here in the at storefront level. And I'll come back to that in a moment. If you're joining us online, and I got a quick glimpse of the gallery, so there were some familiar faces in the online Zoom room. We are coming to you from the J.W. McConnell building here on the Sir George campus. And I'm going to return to the importance of the building in a moment. But one of the threads that I want to pick up is to connect the work of this center going forward with an announcement that we made as an institution in late August, which was that beginning this September, every new undergraduate student coming into Concordia would have the opportunity to do experiential learning through their academic program. Every single student, regardless of which faculty they were in, regardless of what program they were in. And I think that that's a decision and initiative on the part of the university, which is really going to differentiate us from the work that many universities are doing to promote experiential learning, because it's across the board. And because our ambition is that by 24-25, we'll be able to make 2 of those opportunities available to students. Why am I saying that in this context? Because those opportunities are only going to happen through partnerships. And as Fran already laid down the theme of the day, it is about partnerships, and SHIFT plays another key role, as another example of an initiative within Concordia that is driven by partnerships. Vu les partenariats que nous avons déjà établis et que nous continuons de tisser, nous comptons être la toute première université au Québec et l'une des premières au Canada à atteindre cet objectif. There are many universities, of course, that have great co-op programs or internship programs, but we believe that the University of Calgary is the only other university in Canada that has made a global commitment to all of its undergraduate students. Nous reconnaissons également que la salle de classe n'est pas le seul lieu possible d'apprentissage pour l'expérience. And I think that's also one of the critical things about Concordia's approach to higher education. It's to approach higher education with the humility to know that we do not have a monopoly on knowledge, and with the humility to understand that our students will benefit from being able to combine what they learn in a classroom setting with what they experience and learn outside that classroom setting, and that will position them for even greater things going forward. And we already do this through our co-op program, through our various internship programs, through the Beat the Odds and Humanities Plus program, and I could go on and name them. The goal is to provide students with as many hands-on experiences as possible, and we do that with the knowledge, with the belief that when students graduate, there will be a wider range of opportunities for them to pursue, and they will have had the opportunity as part of their program to test drive different potential careers. So today we're taking another significant step in this journey by developing experiential learning through the Shift Center and the Shift Center for Social Transformation. This fantastic new location provides an incredibly welcoming, inclusive physical space for students, faculty, staff, for our entire community, but equally important for partners external to the university. And of course, it's also just steps away from the fourth space, another vitrine that the university uses to turn our research and creative activity inside out to the world. And for our downtown campus, we are privileged to have two very different campuses, but the downtown campus is a storefront campus. And what we are doing in this building is turning the storefront into vitrines for academic activity. This is some of the most prestigious real estate, if I can put it that way, that the university has. And what a bold decision to turn that space away from a commercial revenue generating space into an intellectual, creative, community bonding and building space. And so there's a real harmony, I think, between what we're trying to do here in the Shift Center for Social Transformation and what have been doing for the last few years with the fourth space, just literally a few meters away. If we want to make good on our goal to bring the community closer to the university, then space matters, and how we use space matters to achieve that. And just a little anniversary note, we're also in a building which opened, which last week celebrated its 30th anniversary with the opening of the Webster Library. So it's kind of harmonious to have another anniversary that we'll be looking forward to celebrating, 30 years from now, when Shift is here and the Webster Library, which we transformed in a very dynamic way just prior to the pandemic, is still operating. And of course, if you're in the library at any point, you know that that's very much a community institution too. It's not reserved for Concordia students. It's a public space and used by many members in Montreal. But here at Shift, I think the goal is very clearly to provide enhanced opportunities for our students to engage in social transformation activities. I think Anne will be saying a little bit more about this later on, so I'm not going to go further. But de plus, les membres de la communauté de Concordia et d'organismes communautaires de Montréal bénéficieront, entre autres, d'un soutien concret à la rédaction des demandes de subventions, à la gestion des projets, à l'organisation des événements et à la planification stratégique grâce à l'équipe de Centre Shift. And one of our main objectives here is really to create a home for our community partners going forward. Nous voulons que nos partenaires viennent sur nos campus afin que nous puissions tisser des liens entre l'expérience et l'expertise que nous possédons ici à l'université avec les connaissances et les pratiques, comme j'ai déjà dit en anglais, qui existent hors de nos murs. Je suis impatient, comme tout le monde, je pense, de voir les retombées que cet espace de rassemblement va générer, tant pour notre communauté, université, que pour nos partenaires. And I'm sure that this room is going to be hopping with activity over the coming weeks and months, if it hasn't already. The last thing that I want to say is that a project of this scale, a project of this vision and ambition doesn't happen on its own. And I want to express very deeply and profoundly my sincere thanks to the Mirella and Lino Saputo Foundation, and also to the Amelia and Lino Jr. Saputo Foundation. We worked a long time very closely with those foundations because they wanted to design a gift that broke the boundaries of what normal philanthropy was doing, a gift that would really have an impact, yes, on university life, but on community, on social engagement. And it took probably a couple of years of work with, among others, Claude Pinard, who was involved at the Saputo Foundation at the time, and who is now the head of Centraide. And I think that really the teams came up with an idea that's completely distinctive and in many ways magical. But none of this would have happened without not just the financial support, but the creativity of mind that the Saputos brought to the project as well. And of course, Lino Jr. is one of our graduates. We're immensely grateful for his support of the university. And the $10 million gift, which allowed Shift to come into existence, I think now, I can't wait to send the photos to the Saputos to show them, to really show them what the space looks like that we have created. So this is a big day for Concordia. This is a big day for the city of Montreal. This is a big day for communities around Greater Montreal. And I just want to, in closing, say merci and thank you to Sarah and Susan, and I'm going to get myself into trouble now, Liz, and everybody else who's so pivotal to the work that Shift does, as well as a huge shout out to the partners who have faith in the kind of collaboration that we want to. Was faith the wrong word? All right. That sounded like the voice of God, so we'll stop there.
Just a quick housekeeping note. If anybody does not want to be photographed, as you might have noticed, we do have Michael taking photos. Just let him know if you don't want to appear anywhere online. Okay, so thank you very much, President Carr, for your lovely words and everything you said. Thank you. Now, I'd like to introduce our our Provo and Vice President Academic, Ann Whitelaw.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining us in the launch of this absolutely extraordinary space. I was privileged to be part of a group of external folks who got a tour a couple of weeks ago, and they were including presentations of some of the projects that were going on at Shift. And there was just such an enthusiasm, and I think a lot of people were just amazed at the work that was being done in Shift by both the people who run Shift, by the faculty members, but also by the community partners who all spoke very eloquently about the value of that partnership. So I think the word's already getting out, and it's just really nice to have this formal occasion to celebrate what essentially is a longstanding commitment to community and to social transformation at Concordia. I think you can find it for those of you who've been involved, you'll know that a lot of this work has been happening around the university for some time now. Whether it's a faculty member from fine arts using their action research to launch a network of neighborhood-based art hives, undergraduate students from engineering using their technical skills to tackle the plastics crisis, a group of professors from arts and science and fine arts taking their classes off campus and co-teaching in community spaces in Point St. Charles. MBA students offering pro bono consulting services to nonprofit organizations around Montreal, and Indigenous students and faculty members engaging in land-based learning with community knowledge keepers. So these are all things that are happening at Concordia, and really some of this most important work would not be possible without the deep connections with and contributions from the Montreal community. So in addition to these exciting projects, I'm very fortunate to have 2 units that report to me, the Office of the Provost, and that seek to support this work, to celebrate the successes, to share the models with other units and departments around the university, and to overall increase Concordia's commitment to community engagement and social transformation. The Office of Community Engagement, affectionately known as the OCE, is an internal service unit that is focused on growing Concordia's capacity for respectful and meaningful community engagement. With a strong commitment to decolonization, they aim to better connect the university with the diverse communities of Montreal by developing trusting relationships with key community partners, by playing a bridging role and facilitating introductions between Concordians and the community, advocating for the need and priorities of the community within the university, and by creating opportunities to share, learn from, and celebrate impactful practices. The second group that reports into my office is the Shift Center for Social Transformation. And this is a special project funded, as Graham alluded, the generous donation of the Saputo Foundations that is focused on supporting socially transformative initiatives that are community-led, have a connection to Concordia, and are striving for systemic change. With a strong commitment to community leadership and participatory governance, and that's really important, they aim to help projects reach their next level of impact by creating opportunities for connections, collaborations, and co-learning, facilitating introductions and building new partnerships, offering funding, capacity building, paid student internships, and now access to space. This space is a huge opportunity for these 2 units, sister units, and for the university as a whole. So if you're not already in touch with the OCE and Shift, and I'm pretty sure that everyone who's here already is, so maybe I shouldn't be telling you, tell your friends, tell your colleagues. But if you're interested in seeing how research, teaching, and learning can connect more directly with the community priorities, get in touch, because I know they're really happy to work with and have been extraordinarily good at working with communities and fostering those connections. So I'm really excited to see what comes next. And I want to thank everyone for the work that they've done. So very happy to be part of this launch.
Thank you very much, Anne. Okay, so we want to shake things up a little bit. Anne mentioned participatory governance. Graham mentioned, the importance of our partners. It wouldn't feel right to launch this kind of space and not hear from partners. And so I'm going to invite Aisha, Amanda, Genevieve, and Elizabeth up to have a short conversation so you can hear from them directly. Okay, so I'm going to have them introduce themselves because they can do that best. So Amanda, we'll start with you.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, right. Thanks so much for having us. Grab the mic is what you're saying. I'll grab the mic. So my name is Amanda Moniz. I am the Director of Communications and Advocacy at the Montreal Indigenous Community Network. And essentially what the network is a community organization that supports the ecosystem of community, of the urban Indigenous community in Montreal. And we have really direct connections with Concordia, specifically the OCE, through both an internship program and also a collaborative educational project called the Decolonial Toolbox.
Thank you, Amanda. Aisha?
Hello, my name is Aisha Seabright. I'm a project coordinator, but wow, so loud. But I'm also a co-director and program coordinator at BMHC. I'm also part of the steering committee here at Shift Center for Social Transformation. And with BMHC, it's Black Mental Health Connections. And what we are is an alliance of community organizations and volunteers and different people who work in the mental health sector who come together to essentially destigmatize mental health in the Black community and create and provide programming to help educate around mental health within the English-speaking Black community here in Montreal.
Thank you, Aisha. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth. I work here at the Shift Center, and my work focuses on creating and supporting collaborations for the initiatives that we work with various parts of the giant Concordia universe. So lots of partnership support.
Good morning. My name is Geneviève Siwi. So I'm a member of the Wendat Nation, and I am the Indigenous Community Engagement Coordinator in the Office of Community Engagement. My work, in a nutshell, is to connect the Concordia community, so our students, professors, and employees, with Indigenous organizations. And that includes also, with Indigenous communities, and that includes connecting with Indigenous organizations that are around here in Montreal. And you'll hear a little bit more about one project specifically that I am involved in supporting with Amanda, which is the Decolonial Toolbox.
Excellent. Thank you. So I do want us to hear a little bit more from Amanda and Aisha, since they are our partners. So Aisha, you've got the mic, so can you tell us how the relationship with Concordia has impacted your work?
Well, and directly through funding, it helped to fund our first flagship program, which is the peer support program. But also Shift has helped us directly with even our strategic planning for our organization by offering us consulting to help us really hone in on what our mission and vision would be so that we could really come together as an organization and really have a solid foundation to build from. And yeah, we've had interns through the Shift internship program, and we also have interns through Concordia's fine arts faculty with the drama therapy students. Yeah, so hopefully that was detailed enough.
Thank you, Amanda. Can you tell us how Concordia, the relationship with Concordia has impacted your work?
Yeah. Origin story actually of the network is directly linked to Concordia and the OCE. So when we started the network was maybe 2 employees that didn't have a home. And so Concordia was the first to host the 2 employees at the District 3. And so then came the internship program. And actually, Concordia has collaborated and contributed greatly to making the network what it is today, which we're almost 20 employees. And several of those employees came from the internship program. So definitely through there. And also, as Geneviève was saying, we do have a project called the Decolonial Toolbox, which the big picture of this project is that it is, we have phase 1 of it, which is a self-educational pathway, mostly for a non-Indigenous community that really wants to educate themselves on the realities of Indigenous communities mostly in Montreal. So of course, Concordia, the OCE have given us ongoing funding. So that's allowed us to keep the project going and get the project launched. Actually, it was launched, the first phase was launched in June. And also what happened with that project was we got access to Concordia resources. So we turned it into something that would benefit both the network and Concordia students. So now we actually have the tool available on the library, on the Concordia library. So it's part of the Working with Indigenous Communities companion guide. So close relationship.
Thank you. Now, just to hear from everybody, we're talking about space. We're here to launch and open this space. So how do you guys believe that this space will transform your work? So Elizabeth, we'll start with you.
Sure. My own special microphone. Yeah, we are so excited about the opportunities that the space is opening up for SHIFT and the Office of Community Engagement. I think the biggest thing for us at SHIFT is really this new opportunity to lean into the kind of larger vision that's always been there for SHIFT. Sort of since the beginning, SHIFT's potential has really been seen as this like catalyst, connector, sort of a place where all of the great work that's happening on campus and in connection with the city can kind of come together, meet, connect, and then sort of have a stronger and broader impact in the fact of their connection here. And so during the pandemic, of course, the kind of strategy and vision for that shifted a bit, right? And we've focused really on creating connections based on opportunities that we can see between particular projects and other elements of the Concordia world. But now we're just so excited because the work really changes into creating the conditions within which those kind of really impactful and fruitful collaborations can emerge. So it for me feels like, you know, I began here at the sort of nascent phases of this project, and it really feels like we're moving into the time where we can sort of see it really come together. So we're quite excited. Yeah.
Thank you. Aisha?
Well, even just having SHIFT exist, connecting different community organizations together, we've been able to do different collaborations through meeting different community partners through SHIFT, first of all. And so having this space, it will allow for more natural connections to form. Instead of just having like, you have these different fairs where you introduce students to internship opportunities in this very formal setting. Instead, you can naturally have community organizations flow throughout the building and really connect naturally and really inspire the curiosity out of students and form actually like genuine connections where people are truly inspired to contribute to the work that organizations are doing, offering spaces to hold events, workshops, like even co-working spaces. It really helps to support organizations, even to reduce that financial and the difficulty even finding spaces to do work in, which is really helpful for us as Black Mental Health Connections. Throughout the pandemic, we've been mainly virtual. And so having these community partnerships with organizations like SHIFT, DESTA, Brick by Brick, and so on, allows us to do in-person programming that really allows us to connect with the community in a more natural way that engages them more and helps them feel like the support in a more real way and helps them to connect with each other. Yeah.
Go ahead, Amanda. I'm going next. So for us, one of the mandates of the network is really to hold space for partners to come together in the urban Indigenous community. And so we are facilitators in that sense. But what's really important for us is to find safe spaces to hold those community connections. And sometimes that's really hard to find. And that's what we see this space as, a real safe space where we can launch our projects, where we can hold space for community members. So we're very excited about that. And actually just on a on a practical note, we've already organized a meeting this afternoon with one of our partners. So we're already there. And it's also a space to continue our work in person for the decolonial toolbox. So like an in-person co-working, we can get off Zoom and start working in a safe space.
Thank you. Geneviève?
I think I'll keep building on what you're saying, Amanda, but I think throughout the history of the OC, we've really noticed how being able to be in a space together, so far it has been mainly outside of campus. So we have shared space with community organizations. Maybe I'm thinking of Bâtiment as an example, but I think this space here will allow us to be able to sit next to each other, to have food together. And that's especially important for the Indigenous community to build that trust and build those connections. And in my time here, this is what I've noticed, like the projects that I am supporting now, the things that are the most exciting, the most fruitful, have emerged from being in the same space together, which was at D3 at the time, just being next to each other, working on our laptops, but having those small conversations, which eventually led to trusting and understanding a bit better what each other does and being able to come up with really interesting ideas for collaborations. So I really hope that this can be a space for these kind of ideas to emerge. And I'm also inviting Indigenous students and prof who already have great collaborations with other partners, but to be able to use this space as well for cross pollination or cross contamination of like ideas and projects. Maybe this was a bad translation from French to English, I'm sorry. And I think I want to end too on saying that just echoing some of Fran's word at the beginning, that there is so much Indigenous expertise and experience that have been for so long, that hasn't had really had a space in institutions like this. So I really hope that we can keep supporting those emerging Indigenous initiatives who might not have the funding, might not have employees yet, might not have space, but I think we can do a really good job at bringing them in that bigger circle, supporting them and connecting them with our students, with our professors, and seeing them grow just as we have seen the network over the last 10 years, actually. So, yeah.
Thank you. So I don't know about you guys, but that brings up a lot of things for me, a lot of possibilities. So I'm wondering if we have any questions. Maybe we have time for one question. I'm not seeing a note. Yes. Okay, we do. Okay. Do we have any questions from anybody here today or anybody on the chat? If you would like to write in a question on the chat, you can do so as well. Too soon? You still need to think about it? There's a lot of possibilities, right? There's a lot that a space makes possible. So we'll hope to hear from you later on in the week with the rest of the activities. So thank you very much to Amanda, Aisha, Elizabeth, and Geneviève. Maybe give them a round of applause. Okay. So I did just mention, we have a whole week of activities. So a really important person for you guys to get to know is the Shift Center Space Coordinator, Emma.
I will stand on my toes. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. Well, anyway, I'm still having the feelings from the previous conversation. Thank you for that. So yeah, I'll be sharing with you some information about our open week. We have an exciting week planned for you. So tomorrow on Tuesday, November 1st, over lunch, we're hosting a lunch and learn event where members of our of two Shift funded projects, the Evolution of Liberty House and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, will speak about their work of accompanying individuals through the transition out of incarceration and drug and rehabilitation. And this event will be the first in a series entitled our Learning Community Showcases, which will occur every first Tuesday of each month. So each first Tuesday, you'll get to meet two project teams who will speak about their work and the socially transformative initiatives they are leading. On Wednesday, also over lunch, we're hosting another public conversation titled From Symptoms to Systems, What Does Social Transformation Really Mean? And we've invited 3 members of our past and present steering committee who helped to craft our definition of social transformation. So we've invited them to consider how each person's understanding and lived experiences of transformative, so how their understanding of transformative change is impacted by their backgrounds and lived experiences. And for that conversation, we'll be using the University of the Streets Cafe model. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it is a popular education program by our sister unit, the Office of Community Engagement. And the University of the Streets usually organizes public bilingual conversations in community spaces around Montreal to connect people and help foster communities. And the University of the Streets Cafe will be coming back in 2023. Besides these 2 lunch conversations each day, starting today at 3 p.m., we'll be having short guided tours to the space. You could come by. So these guided tours are co-hosted with the Office of Community Engagement, the OCE. You'll get to explore the space and learn about, the work of our 2 units. So every morning around 10:30 and then 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And finally, on Thursday, November 3rd, we're hosting a 5 cassette with for our community partners and members. It'll be a convivial gathering to celebrate this important milestone with all of them. And very briefly, okay. Just like moving forward beyond this open house week, just like a bit about the space and the weeks and months to come, in addition to our regular programming, skill building workshops, and public facing events, the space will be open 2 days a week for co-working. Tuesdays from noon to 6 p.m. and Thursdays from 10 to 4 p.m. Anyone who's working on social change or community engaged projects is welcome to come and co-work, meet us, meet the other members of our community, and hopefully have these, collaborations happen organically. And besides co-working space, our space will be open to our community members, OCE community members, our partners, and we'll look at it as a resource for them, to use, and as a place where they can feel at home in Concordia. So it's open for our community to reserve rooms, this open space to host events, meetings, informal gatherings, workshops, we'll see. And the space is also open to the broader Concordia community, I would say, and the public to book rooms, host events that we hope make Montreal more just, equitable, and sustainable. We get to do that together. And I would say, I'll just stay to that. I'll just invite everyone here to stick around after 11:30. There's some food, you could grab a bite, drink some coffee, and explore the space and learn a bit about our different projects displayed in different rooms. Thank you, everyone. I'll just do this.
So thank you very much, Emma. Thank you to everybody who's in the space. It really is really lovely to see so many people in the space. So thank you for being here. But it's just a start, now it's what we make of it collectively, as Emma said. And I look forward to seeing all of you here in the next days, weeks, months, years. Graham said 30 years. So let's do it together. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone online.